Hello, Kit here with the next segment of my reminiscing about video games. The next segment is, of course, going to be set to the tune of one of the most popular video games of all time, which I eventually got after I got my Super Nintendo or my regular Nintendo Entertainment System, but not immediately. I did get it with a huge pack of games that I don't know. I don't really remember what was in it. I do remember, of course, the fateful plugging in of the system to the TV. I was pacing about the room. Except I have a lot of nervous habits, and I was never more nervous as for waiting for the NES to work, of course, because I was a nerd. And the first game to come on was Star Tropics. Now, that was kind of like Nintendo of America's answer. I really don't know the full story, but it's I don't think it was ever released in Japan. So it was like our Zelda, even though we had Zelda 2 as well. So I don't really know. But one of the most frustrating things about that game, Star Tropics, was that there was a part that you could not figure out what to do if you didn't have the instruction booklet. And not only that, but if you had a certain part of the instruction booklet, I eventually had to figure it out through a little paperback book I had that had like these reviews of video games and cheat codes you could do. And also, it reviewed the games, it gave you like these limited walkthroughs, and it just basically helped you out. And they were like, in the text it was like, okay, you're to this part, right? So now what you do is you take your manual, you take the instruction booklet and the letter that comes with it, and then you soak it in water, and the code comes out. And then I was like, okay, and the code, it's 747. Oh yeah, thank you for that. Now I can actually play the game, because otherwise I would have been stuck. Now that's one of the most heinous crimes I think you can commit in a video game, is not telling you some vital piece of information that, not only does it not lead to a bonus item or something, it leads to the progression of the game. But that was quite enough time wasted with that. One of the most hilarious moments I've ever had in video games is with this game, and that's why I'm playing it. I got a Game Genie, back when I was a kid, people had power fantasies, and even in video games, where you could do basically anything, like, for instance, fly. That wasn't enough. We wanted infinite lives or health or whatever. But my friend and I used to just waste all day inputting codes into this game and going to the first level and seeing what was what. And so what I would do is I have a sheet of paper down, put the codes in, and see what would happen. What would happen, what tickled me, was a code that I entered that changed the behavior of the piranha flowers that shot fire. So instead of shooting fire, they exploded into a wave of points that would go across the... It would just follow you everywhere. There would be like 100s that would spew everywhere, and it was just so hilarious to me at the time. And if that wasn't enough, that the wave of points, when it contacted an enemy, would fling the enemy into the sky, and then you could try to follow its trajectory, and it would fall off somewhere into the distance. And oh man, it was a riot. And I so wish I had kept the sheets of paper I had as a kid that detailed these codes. That was the good one. That was the one that I wish it wasn't ashes in some sort of compost heap, but there you go. You live and you do stupid things, and then you forget to, record them for future generations. Oh man, this game, it's a blast. I knew about the warp whistle tricks, but I just, I wanted to beat the game in one sitting or something. I don't remember when I actually beat it, if it was with the warp whistles or not. But I guess, who cares? You just play it. I used to get games and stuff, either by borrowing them or renting them. And the games Games I didn't mesh with well in the early years were puzzle games like Fire and Ice and Adventures of Lolo. Those are pretty good games. I was just a kid and stupid, you know. Had no patience to think. Good grief. I did own Mega Man 2 and 3. Actually own them. And man, let me tell you, the Game Genie messed up Mega Man 2's music, even if you didn't input any codes. My NES was getting to the point that, you know, you had to blow in the games all the time to even hope that they would work. But the Game Genie, you put games in them and they would work every time. I don't know what it did to help, but it did help. But it would make Mega Man 2's music awful. Incidentally, lots of people think that Mega Man 2 and 3 are the best ones of the classic series, so, you know, I guess I got lucky there. I don't know. I rented Mega Man 4 a lot. Mega Man 5 maybe once. Memory gets a bit fuzzy there. So that's about the size of my experiences with NES games. Otherwise, it was pretty typical. You know, you play games, it's fun. You play some really bad games occasionally, like if you've ever heard of Back to the Future, that is a terrible game. B to jump, A to throw like bowling balls or something. And even with cheat codes, it was practically impossible to get past like the second level where there are these thugs that you throw milkshakes at or some weird crud like that. So, yeah, I played Kirby's Adventure. There's a weird thing with it. If you rattle the, I don't know how it was if you had it, and you know, you rattle the cart and there's like something inside. I don't know what the heck that was. But yeah, that's about my experiences. The eventual fate of my NES is not a very bright one. I don't know what my problem was as a kid. I wasn't very smart. But my grandfather, he had a lot of storage space, and when I had the SNES and N64, I was running out of, you know, space needed to play games, and I knew he had space, so I asked him to store them for me. And, you know, normally that would it sounds like a logical plan, right? Only I knew that my grandfather was even like more thinking games were just some stupid thing than an actual form of entertainment. So, you know, I never saw the NES again, or any of my several games, including the regular Final Fantasy and the Dragon Warrior and all three Mario, Super Mario Brothers, regular Mario Brothers. All of that is either hopefully in someone else's collection or gone for good. So, and that is about it. Goodbye.